Now, folks out there in social media land are really fired up about the Supreme Court's decision today on gay marriage. And someone who's especially opinionated on this is the chairman of American Grizzlies United. That would be Thomas Schmitz. Thomas, welcome back to the show. Good to have you.
Hi, Dr. Gina. How you doing?
Good. I'm good. Now, I just posted on Facebook that you have a little surprise. Do you want to make an introduction?
Yes, this is Kalki.
And how did we come up with the name Kalki? I can't remember this now.
Yeah, Kalki is Sanskrit for destroyer of evil. And Kalki comes at the right time when the world is in disarray and needs to be fixed. Kalki, as the ancients said, came to fix things, comes to fix things when the world has turned to evil, and therefore Kalki translates in Sanskrit as destroyer of evil. And I think that's very relevant to what's going on today.
All right.
Especially.
And thank you for that transition. I have to tell you, one of my good friends and a friend of yours as well texted me this morning a little ambivalent. He said, I feel like this is something that I fought for most of my life. He's gay. He said, I feel like this is something I fought for most of my life, Dr. Gina, but he said, I'm very conflicted today because all of a sudden I realized I have been used. You've written extensively on how the LGBT has used gay people for their political purposes. Is this the full manifestation of that, Thomas?
No, this is the beginning. This is, I don't know what part we're on now, if it's part 1, 2, or 3, but they're marching on with the complete homosexual agenda, which requires and is now mandated a full celebration of sodomy. Schools will be forced to teach sodomy. They will be forced to teach about gabies. Can Social Security even afford this? We all know it's bankrupt. Are the polygamists going to deserve equality? You know, the LGBT keeps marching on. You know, never have I seen anything like this. When is enough is enough? You know, are they going to stop whining now? No, they're not, because their next class of victims are the transsexuals, and the year of the tranny will continue, and they will continue to complain and whine with this new group that they have convinced has had their rights, their imaginary rights, mind you, taken away from them, and they will march on with that. But this full celebration of sodomy, at what point do we say enough is enough? I mean, think about that, moms and dads out there. Your children are going to be required at school to learn about man-man, woman-woman marriage.
Okay, so Thomas, but this is the thing that I keep getting, and you've seen my post tonight. I posted just for people to vote in our poll. What did people think of this? And of course, you know, it unleashed the demons, if you will, on both sides, because there's some people who can be pretty nasty on both sides. But one of the things I repeatedly hear is, what's wrong with equality? You get married. Why would you deny me the right to marry? The reason I ask you this, Thomas, is because I know you've written about this extensively. I've interviewed you many times on this topic. Did gays have the right to marry before the Supreme Court decision?
Absolutely. There was nothing preventing a gay man from getting married to a woman. It's not the country's fault that you turned out the way you did. I can tell you how it happens, but people aren't going to like it. You know, the Constitution, let's start with the Supreme...
Okay, wait, no, let's back up, because what if two gay people just want to live together and they want to have, for example, hospital privileges? That's a completely understandable thing. You know, I mean, you know, what if a best friend is there and wants to have hospital privileges for their best friend because maybe they're not married, but they don't want to be alone when they're going through something awful? So, Thomas, I mean, that's something that you've written about, and what I'm trying to get you to is your plan, because you've written about this so much, for people who wanted all of those benefits that go along with what they've been told they must have marriage to achieve. That's where I'm trying to get you to go.
Got it. I'm following it. Okay, first thing, gay people, turn off Bravo TV. Throw away The Advocate and Frontiers and all of that crap, and read the laws that are already on the books. In 1999, the California State Assembly passed through both houses, the governor signed it, the California Domestic Partnership Registry Act. Any gay couple is entitled to this privilege You fill out the form, you get a certificate signed by the governor saying if you are discriminated against in any way, if you have any problems with hospital visitation, someone not renting to you, anything. The actual language is shall have the same rights as married spouses. I proposed my domestic partnership reform bill today. I was going to do it early, but you know what? I kind of felt they were going to go this way. And so I called it How It Could Have Been. And it's published right now. It's on conservatives4palin.com. Because the only thing that was missing from the California Domestic Partnership Registry Act was the ability for same-sex couples to file taxes on a joint level federally. So in my bill, I switched it up. I slapped an amendment. I used a lot of the language from the California Domestic Partnership Registry Act, which most states have. We were making great progress under President Bush until the lesbians screwed it up by demanding the word marriage be redefined. President Bush was making great progress with domestic partnership reform, and this would have saved millions of dollars. The country would be less divided, and we would have less people believing that they are victims and actually bothering to read the laws already on the books.
Okay,
so
what about death benefits, Thomas? Because that's a really important thing to long-term gay partners. So what about death benefits?
It's in the bill. It's very simple. Shall have the same rights as married spouses. I don't know how to be any more clear. Even the stupid people can get this. Shall have the same rights as married spouses. That's across the board. With the same rights comes the same responsibilities too. And that's the part that people are going to forget. But if you go to my bill, which is published right now on conservatives4palin.com, you'll see how much cheaper this would have been, how much less divisive this would have been, and how much less time-consuming this would have been. It didn't have to go this way. It could have been done very simply, and President Bush was poised to do it, and then the lesbians screwed it up.
So we didn't need this Supreme Court. You're saying that gay couples who wanted equality did not need the Supreme Court decision that happened today, that it's a much ado about nothing and it's a huge federal overreach.
Absolutely not. Marriage, aside from the biblical church aspect of it, is a contract. And so what we're talking about is benefits and how the benefits are distributed and whether or not they should be distributed equally. Of course, the answer is yes. They should be distributed equally, but it did not take a redefinition of a word that is the cornerstone of society. It has been for millennia, and now via social engineering and tinkering, they have turned a word to mean something that it doesn't mean. The long-term consequences on this are going to be huge, and this is just the beginning.
Just the beginning. Well, we'll be watching. Thank you so much for being with us, Thomas. Congratulations on the new kitty. Up next, we're going to discuss the president's